Right, guys, as soon as we start streaming, we're on, in fact. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How is everyone? I guess we have started now. We are in phase, I guess we're in phase 2 of the government's dastardly plan. The kids are back at school. We're starting the new epoch. The summer's over. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're talking about today now, guys, okay? So people in the United Kingdom, prepare for what's coming, because phase 2 has been initiated. Now, before I get into this, I want to just real quick, I just want to mention something that Edward Snowden said. He was on Joe Rogan, and I know I've said this quite a few times, but for the purpose of this live stream, I think it's going to be relevant for everybody. Edward Snowden was on you guys know, I'm not going to explain who Edward Snowden is. So he was on a live stream with Joe Rogan, podcast, with Joe Rogan, and he was saying the big conspiracies are not the ones hidden behind closed doors. They're not the ones, in some shady back room and somebody's had some backhand dealing. The big conspiracies get governmental, are approved by governments, go through Congress, if you're in America, and they are the big conspiracies. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, I think everybody missed it. I do. In fact, you know what, guys? I'm calling out anybody who missed this. If you call yourself a mainstream, if you call yourself a commentator on what's happening in the country, and you missed Keir Starmer's video where he said he's putting into phase 2, like, you're kind of stupid. Am I been blocked from that? I don't know. So if that happened, I think you're stupid and you don't do your own work. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but the government have now are now moving into phase 2 of their plan. So listen, guys, let me be clear. I've done a lot of phase 1 reporting, phase 2 reporting. You have code words. In any part of a plan, you have phases. That is the cold, it's not even the cold reality. It's just the reality. If you're on a building site, if there's any builders out there and tell me, guys, if there's any builders out there, tell me I'm wrong. You build a housing estate in phases. You need the diggers to come in first. You need to level the ground. That might be phase 1. Then you need to, lay the foundations. That's phase 2. I'm not in construction, so I don't know. If you're drilling for oil, you need to do that in phases. You don't just get your oil pipe down and try and suck the desert. It's not going to work. You need to drill your hole down. You need to concrete your hole. You need to secure it. You need to get your pumps in place. You need to do things in phases. If you're in the military and you're wanting to take a town, a village, a house, trains, planes, and automobiles, you need to do that in phases. If you're going into a village, phase 1 of taking that village or that town, city settlement, phase 1 might be the investment phase. So phase 1 is right. When all 3 battalions are at the start line, that will be phase 1. Kind of doesn't matter what the actual process is of the phases. What matters is that the phases are a clear identification of progress. And under no circumstances, guys, can you start phase 2 without completing phase 1. Just think about it. Just think about this, guys, right? You're on a building site. Phase 1's not complete. So you've not got the foundations in. Yeah, let's start phase 2. You can't start building unless phase 1's complete. All right? If you're in the military, phase 1's not complete. Let's start phase 2. You can't start phase 1. You can't start phase 2 until phase 1 is complete. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of chilling, Nobody is questioning Keir Starmer what phase 2 means. Because that to me says that phase 1 has been a success. I don't know, guys. From my point of view, it's been a disaster. But if it was the plan to flood the shores of the UK with mass migration, to cause division in our communities, to destroy our economy, to make Britain a laughing stock, then yeah, that is phase 1 complete. What is phase 2? And I don't think people understand the significance of what was said in that, when Keir Starmer came out and said phase 1 is complete, Emperor. We are now moving to phase 2. Right, guys, I'm going to jump up and get the questions, comments, actually. Is it hot or is it cold today, guys? I don't know. The sun's out, but it is chilly. I'm going to have to start making fires soon. Good morning, John T, Barry John Slater, user and a load of numbers, JB, John Wayne has joined. John Wayne, listen, I bet there's a lot of politicians at the moment who have more time off than John Wayne's safety catch. Kevin Bailey, Jen Hart Jen, Iron 77, Debbie Black, AJ Denton, loads of people joining, guys. Lots of people joining. Debbie 1973 saying good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Debbie 1973. I hope you're well. D Marie saying morning. April Lee saying morning, all morning. Sean, oh my God, how do I join up to? I don't know what that's in response to. Joining into phase 2, April. I don't know what that's in response to. Laurie C is saying good morning. Good morning to you, Laurie. Lol Luxford. Sean, phase 2. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm moving into my phase 2 long hair raven. Aragorn hair. Morning, Jodie Lee. Debbie Doobs is saying, it's all there in front of us. I agree, Debbie Doobs. It is all there, laid out in front of us. It's all there for all to see. And one of the things, like when I started these channels, I started doing. Thank you, Mystery Moon, for your subscription. Mystery Moon, thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you to all the subscribers, guys. Really, you do keep you guys who subscribe. You guys keep this channel going. You really do. Yeah, sorry. Let me pin this. There we go. So Debbie Doob is saying it's all there in front of us. It is, guys. It's all there in front of us. I always say, you can't hide anything anymore. You just need to know where to look, and you need to know what information. I don't know what's going on there. And you do need to know what information is readily available. Sorry, you do need to be able to go between what information is readily available and what's not readily available. So when I started doing this, I was doing guns, tanks, bombs, trains, planes, automobiles, tactics, and conflicts around the world, because that's what I understand. That's my area of expertise. And I know, and I can look at information that's released on open source social media and say, yes, it's credible. No, it's not credible. And I know that all this information is out there. Like I can see, like if somebody shows me a video of some troops doing an attack on a village, I can tell you their level of training. I can tell you their competency. I can tell you how long those troops can stay in the field. I can tell you how far they can go. And literally just by watching like a 10, 15 second clip of some troops operating or doing something, Now I'm applying that. I guess now I'm applying that to what's happening here in the United Kingdom, and I'm looking and I'm seeing all the information's there readily available. So as Debbie Doobs was saying somewhere, the comment's gone off, guys, because I was waffling out. Raven went on a little waffle, but Debbie Doobs was saying something like all the information's out there readily available for us all to see, and it is. So when Keir Starmer comes up and says phase 1, well, he didn't say phase 1's initiated. He said he's starting phase 2. That means that whatever has happened in the UK since Keir Starmer took place is good. That was all part of the plan. We've done that, guys. We've finished now. We're good. We're going to move on to phase 2. So what is phase 2? It's unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. And I don't know if you guys have noticed yet. And I don't know if, like, how you talk and, like, your phone picks up the key. And it does, guys. Let's not pretend it doesn't. So, when you talk, like you're talking about something like, I don't know, you're talking to your wife or your husband and you're saying like, oh, you're just talking and you're saying, yeah, I need a new oil filter for my car. All of a sudden, all the ads on your streams are like for oil filters. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I was talking the other day about adverse possession and how in the United Kingdom, at some point very soon, we are going to start to see legal challenges from migrants, and they're going to be claiming that they've been living in woods for 10 years, and then that woodland is going to be given to them. You know, I was saying that. Well, I've started to see lots of videos on my phone appearing now of people. I'm going to assume migrants living in woods. So there we have it, guys. We have a new dimension in the United Kingdom. We have people of the woodland realm. People of the woodland realm. And look, guys, wouldn't we all just love to go and live in the woods? I mean, honestly, say I'm good with taxes, I'm good with council tax, I'm going to go and live in the woods and be like a ranger from the north. Could I be a ranger from the north, guys? If you're not in the north of England, ladies and gentlemen, do you think I would be a good ranger from the north? You know, I believe I've got the skills to be a ranger from the north. We're the Dunedain, blessed with long life. April Lee saying, I'm back at work Thursday, missing the lives. Oh, no, April Lee. Well, don't worry, April, because you can watch them all on YouTube. Because you know what? We are triple streaming this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming on TikTok. We're streaming on X. And we are streaming on YouTube. So please show that. Please show your support, ladies and gentlemen. Hit those buttons up there if you're watching on TikTok. Down here if you're watching on YouTube. And honestly, I don't even know where the follow button is on X. I don't even know how to message people on X. Yeah, I think I need to use X quite a lot more than I actually do. Googly. Oh my God, please no, we can't have this, Googly. Right, Googly is saying China is about to reveal the weapon it's been hiding from the world. Oh, by the beard of Zeus. I bet it's got something to do with lasers. I bet it's a ground-based. I'm speculating right now, and I don't know what this is, Googly. In fact, let me have a look on the internet. Let me see what the internet's saying. Is it that one? Is it that one? Keep that one up. We'll get that one. Give me a second, guys. No, we can't have this, guys. This, ladies and gentlemen, I think I need to do a video about this. Oh, I said it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, look, guys, if you know when I talk about like military stuff, yeah, when I talk about military, planes, trains, automobiles, tactics, you know, how the world is militarily, I really do know what I'm talking about, a lot more than I let on. Now, Googly has just put a post on here, and I didn't know about this, and he's put a headline from the Telegraph: China is about to reveal the weapon it's been hiding from the world. Literally, like 30 seconds ago, what did I say? I said, I bet it's a ground-based space laser. Headline: lasers are expected to be at the forefront. Yeah, what I think that's so. I'll give you a little. Yeah, that okay. Yeah, so they're not telling us what it is. So what I will say is you've got to look at the world holistically. Now, a conflict with China would start in space. There's lots of reasons for this. Now, you've got to look at Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink. Sorry. So Elon Musk's Starlink, that is, I would speculate, is US military satellites masquerading as civilians. Also, the Chinese long-range missiles are heavily reliant on GPS. There are satellites going over China all the time. Now, an easy way to take those satellites out is to have a ground-based laser that can fire into space. Now, I know that sounds far-fetched, but if you put one of these things on or near a nuclear power plant, then it's like you've got that you've got that power capacity. You know, I've talked about, I believe there's something to do. I'm switching to Ukraine now, guys. Well, I'm not, I'm switching to Russia. You know, I've said, look, I don't believe that the Ukrainians are holding the region of Kursk for any other reason than the nuclear power plant that is in the Kursk region. So yeah, so I do think this is going to be some sort of laser weapon. My initial thoughts is this is going to be a ground-based laser that can fire, take satellites out. Anyway, guys. Anyway, who knows? Let's, you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Google is saying pound falls in the wake of Starmer's reset. Yeah, so we've initiated phase 2 now, ladies and gentlemen. Look, if you think that the pound falling is a bad thing, that's fine. But if it's your plan to make the pound fall, then that's clearly a good thing. W.H. Smith flees the high street and runs straight into, runs straight into calamity. Ministers given veto over sentencing council after two-tier justice row. Debbie Doobs is saying, Trump to make an announcement today. I have no about, right, let me have a look at this. I don't know what that would be. He's probably just getting out there and letting people know he's not transcended into a beam of light. Donald Trump to make a surprise Oval Office announcement at 2 p.m. What could it be? Is that 2 p.m. UK time, or I don't know. So what he's saying is they could be deploying the National Guard to Chicago. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't it be good? Look, we've got to be careful what we wish for. All right, we've got to be very careful what we're wishing for. Deploying the National Guard military and having this level of authoritarianism, anti-disestablishmentarianism is, I don't know, guys. Like, it's just like, you know, it seems to me like the system has been absolutely broken, so that when these draconian measures are brought in, people are like, yay, yay, yay. And look, guys, I'll be quite clear. I do believe that we're going to get Americanized in the United Kingdom. I do believe that at some point, the United Kingdom is going to become part of the United States. And I'm all for that. I'm just also cautious of what comes after. You can't really worry about what comes down the line. You have to deal with what you've got right in front of you. So again, I'll give you guys another military analogy again. So like, if you're in the military and you're in a you're in a gunfight, like you can't worry about what the artillery is doing 20 kilometers away. You need to deal with what's right in front of you, and that's kind of the situation we're in right now. Hang on, guys. Done that. Sean McKay saying, wonder if all them lot are waiting for some sort of instruction for a mass attack. Yeah, this has been. Oh, and Sean McKay's got a Templar cross. I told you the Templar cross would start coming back. So Sean McKay is saying, wonder if people are waiting for some sort of mass attack. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, like, you know, I mean, I spoke about this yesterday. We're not ready for these Gaza refugees, guys. We are not ready for the Palestinian refugees in the United Kingdom. Like, and I get it, you know, I get it. There's a lot of liberals, but like, how do you deal with somebody who attacks you? This is what will happen. You know, you will see videos of this. In fact, I'm speculating you will see videos of this. We will more than likely see videos of people attacking people. And then as soon as the police come, they'll throw themselves on the floor and play the victim. That is literally what's coming, guys. And then the police are going to come and they're going to think, what? What's happening here? Hey, we've got two guys laid on the floor and they're going to be playing the victim then. I'm literally just looking at a video here, guys. So a Palestinian Muslim's just been arrested in Germany. Now, this is a video online. In fact, hang on, let me play it. Right. So the translation in this video, the German, I don't speak German that well. I'm assuming he's speaking in German. I can't really hear what he's saying, but the translation underneath this video. So this is a video that's on X, guys. It was posted a few hours ago. And this Palestinian man, he's being arrested, and he's saying, "With God's help, we will finish you off. We will destroy every last Christian in Europe." So I don't know. Maybe that's just his opinion. But that's what we have just opened the floodgates to, guys, in the United Kingdom. You know, they are coming. Right. Let me jump up, guys. So we've done that. Googly saying the Home Secretary refuses to guarantee the start of migrant returns deal. Yeah. So all these things in the United Kingdom, they seem crazy, right? They seem crazy. But what if this was part of the plan? Let's just think about for one moment. Let's just think about that, guys, for one moment. Let's just think, right? Like Keir Starmer says, phase one's complete now. Let's just pretend that the government want this. Let's just think that the government are driving for this. Then it all starts to make sense, doesn't it? You know, it all starts to make sense if this is, if this is phase one complete. So whereas we're all thinking, oh, Home Secretary, why are you refusing to guarantee to start the migrant returns deal? Why are you not agreeing? Because they don't want to, ultimately. Trump's announcement to I don't know if it's 2 US. Yeah, it will be 2 US time. Paul Poops is saying probably a massive drone ship. Oh, right. Okay, that's in response to what the Chinese are going to reveal. Look, back in 2017, right? Back in 2017, when I was keen and I used to put project proposals into the military, I proposed to buy for funding to buy, these these cargo ships. A lot of these cargo ships, when they come to their the end of their I don't know, sell by date or whatever, and they don't want to be used anymore, they just get cut up for scrap metal, and you can buy them for an absolute steal, guys, literally at scrap value. So what I proposed, I sent a proposal into the government. This was 2017. Maybe a 2018. No, I think it was might be in the back, whatever, it doesn't matter. It was over 5 years ago. I sent a proposal into the government to buy one of those cargo ships and refurbish it, turn it into a drone aircraft carrier. So rather than having and you would do this for a fraction of one F-35. So rather than have 3.5 billion on an aircraft carrier, then you have to buy aircraft, then you have to buy weapons, then you have to buy radar, then you have to buy communication systems. What I was suggesting is, rather than do all that thing, just totally reinvent naval warfare and say, right, rather than do that, we are going to have a drone aircraft carrier, whereby we actually build the drones inside the aircraft carrier and we send them out, and it doesn't matter if they come back or not, because they're I was driving the cost down. Didn't get 2 sniffs, guys. Didn't get 2 sniffs on that. But it looks like China may have done that, and then it'll be a great idea. Then everybody was saying, oh, this is a great idea now. Look, somebody else has done it. Britain, like the British military and the military industrial complex, are fantastic at snatching a defeat away from the jaws of victory. They're fantastic. Debbie Doobs is saying, toe tapping T to total. I can't even say what Debbie Doobs is saying. Toe tapping to totalitarianism. Google is saying 2 balls, 2 countries. Come on, Trump. Jim Prothero is saying, good morning, everybody. What have I missed? Oh, Jim Prothero, listen, we are talking this morning in the United Kingdom, here on the beautiful shores of the Shire, or whatever you guys want to call it, Middle Earth. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be, listen, guys, we are pretty much going to be in Middle Earth pretty soon. Look, guys, and how many times have I said this? We are heading towards sword and sandals combat in the United Kingdom. That is coming, guys. Oh, hang on. Paige Olivia, thank you so much for your subscription, Paige Olivia, for the first time as well. And Paige Olivia, I hope you are going to be a powerful contributor to this channel. And I value your opinion. So what is your opinion, Paige Olivia? And welcome. So how many times have I said that, guys? We're going to have sword and sandal skirmishes all over the United Kingdom. That is coming, guys. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me if we started to see like trebuchets and like all sorts of crazy mechanical. And don't think I'm not even lying, guys. I'm not even lying. We are going to have like when this happened in Ukraine. It really did. In Ukraine, when there was, the Maidan Revolution, people were building makeshift trebuchets and stuff. It was crackers, guys. It was absolutely crackers. And we're going to see that sort of stuff in the United Kingdom. We are going to see sword and sandal skirmishes in the United Kingdom. Should I change my channel name to Ranger from the North? I don't know. Maybe I've just been watching Lord of the Rings too much. But anyway, so Gene Prothro is saying, good morning, everyone. What have I missed? So we've been talking about how phase 1 has been a success in the United Kingdom. Now, depending on what your metric of success is, it's clear that it has been a success because the government are starting phase 2. Debbie Doobs saying it's all part of the plan. It's been coming for years. Timsky's saying good morning, and Debbie Doobs is saying welcome to the family, Paige. So Paige, who's just become a subscriber. Pink Lady is saying just had a test from the government saying we will be getting a siren set by the 7th of September. They are getting close, aren't they, guys? They are getting ready. They're getting ready for something. Googly saying Iran protester climbs King's Cross clock tower with a dog. He dropped it too. I don't know, guys. It's all crackers. It's all bonkers at the moment. When you destroy identity, you're gone. You are absolutely gone. Like a society's gone. When a society doesn't feel safe, which is right now in the United Kingdom, we don't feel safe. When you don't feel safe, you don't have trust. When you don't have trust, everything's broken. Absolutely everything is broken, guys, when you don't have trust. Because, like, what do I mean by that? So trust is queuing up. Trust is queuing up. It is, British people are fantastic for forming queues. Or if you're watching from America, forming a line. You guys want to form a line? Hey guys, you got to get back of the line. It'll be back of the line for you guys. In the United Kingdom, we call that a queue. British people are fantastic at queuing. Like I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember when Northern Rock collapsed. People were losing their life savings. And what did the British public do? They formed an orderly queue outside the Northern Rock. People just formed an orderly queue outside Northern Rock. If you go to the Middle East, look, guys, if you've been to the Middle East, let me know. Like, just put it in the comments, and you know what I'm talking about. Like, at airports in the Middle East, there's no such thing as queuing. It's literally just like a gang mob when the check-in opens. People are pushing. Honestly, guys, people are pushing. People are shoving. There's like people with far too much luggage. People from the Middle East, they carry far too much luggage when they're traveling. It's just carnage, So, like, visually, you have a high trust society forming queues and a low trust society, which is all for themselves. And right now, trust is a direct symptom of fear. I think I'm saying that right. I think that statement's correct. Yeah, so trust or lack of trust is a direct symptom of fear. As fear goes up, trust goes down. That's the reality, guys. That is the real reality. And as trust goes down, people start to fend for themselves. People start to segregate. People start to us and them. There's no more unity anymore. And that's where we are right now. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Tell me I'm wrong. Lisu is saying, morning all. Good morning to you, Lisu. Google is saying a demonstrator unfurled an anti-Iranian government flag before dropping it off a 100-foot ledge. I hope he's okay. Paige Olivia is saying, will we go to war? Okay, so I know you're clearly wanting welcome, Paige, welcome. You're most welcome, and so are your questions. Okay, I know you're wanting a yes or no answer. I don't think anyone ever is gonna, like, if we're talking about a third world war, I don't think anyone is ever gonna stand up and say, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the third world war. I don't think that's gonna happen. What I think is going to happen slowly and slowly over time, the escalations are going to be further greater and greater. I do believe there will be British boots on the ground. In fact, they're already. There are already British boots on the ground in Ukraine. If you go walk around Kiev, and you don't need to walk far. In fact, I'll tell you exactly where to walk. If you walk up and down Mikhailovska Strasse, which is St. Michael's Street in Kiev. If you go and walk up and down St. Michael's Street, in fact, let me pin that again. If you go and walk up and down St. Michael's Street for a couple of hours, you will see people in British military uniform. So there are already British boots on the ground in Ukraine. It's only a matter of time before that is made official and that is made at scale. I believe it's an inevitability that there's going to be a conflict between NATO minus the United States and Russia. Whether they're going to call that a war or a peacekeeping operation that they're both fighting, I don't know what they're going to call that. They may call it a war. They may call it a war. But either way, there's going to be an industrial, there's going to be a global conflict on an industrial scale. So the word war, and I don't mean to not answer your question. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes to that question. But I don't think it will be called a war initially. But what I believe, and I believe this, guys, you're totally up to your, you're totally welcome to your own opinions. I believe we're heading for a global conflict of an industrial scale, whereby the only thing that's going to matter is who can get stuff from their factories to the front line the quickest, and that's going to be the one of the main driving forces right now, ladies and gentlemen. I talked about this. This last night in last night's live stream. If you've not watched that, that'll be uploaded on YouTube. I talked about how the Russians have really upped their game with manufacturing, with their capacity to drive forward. And I talked about the Shahed drones. I also gave a comparison whereby the West, NATO, the United Kingdom without the United States, this is, remember, the West, NATO without the United States, how they are so slow to react. And by the time NATO go through their bureaucratic process to get equipment to the front line, it's already obsolete. Yeah, do you know what, guys? I'm gonna go one further. I'm gonna say by the time that funding is allocated, the technology that they're funding is already obsolete. Now, I know guys, look, a lot of my friends are in this industry, and I do know where the technology is going. And I know that a lot of technology that's being funded now, that they're just getting money for it, I know that it's already obsolete. So money's getting allocated to build stuff, to counter stuff that they can't counter because the technology's moved on. And that's the problem. In peacetime, the NATO system is better because you have, you have very little. There's still the area for corruption, but the margin of error where you can, where you can just award your mate a contract to build a load of things and he doesn't build it. You can't really do that. So you do get better equipment. In a wartime scenario, you need to get rid of that red tape because it kind of doesn't matter anymore. So anyway, Paige, I hope I've oh, right. Okay. Right. Hang on, Paige, I'll get the rest of your, right. Okay. Paige, I'll get the rest of your comments in a second, Paige. Right. Okay. Googly is saying migrants could be moved from hotels to warehouses. Right, ladies and gentlemen, right. Do we think that the Liberal government in the United Kingdom are going to do that? I would say not. I would say these migrants are going into housing estates. Paige Oliver is saying, like bombs dropping, etc. World War II, war between... Right, okay, so no. If you live in the United Kingdom, Paige, I don't know where you live, but if you live in the United Kingdom, the likelihood of bombs dropping on the United Kingdom, it's it's so tiny. You've literally got more chance of being you've got more chance of being hit by a car, basically. And I mean, no disrespect to that. I'm just saying, like, you have got more chance of being hit by a car than a Russian or whatever bomb coming over, even in the event if there was a war. There's no strategic value in striking the UK. None. The main strategic targets that I believe would be of significance to the Russians they're all in Poland. They're all in Poland, guys. You know, there isn't any strategic targets realistically that would do more good than bad if the Russians struck the UK. Now, what I've said in many live streams is there would be an uptick in sabotage, in lone wolf attacks. That would be an uptick, and that would be a matter of, and that would happen. But if we're talking about, drones coming over to the United Kingdom, missiles, nuclear weapons, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't see that, and I find that highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. So don't worry, Paige. Well done for the Paige. Fantastic news that you're pregnant. I hope you're going to be a fantastic mother, and just absolutely well done to Paige for being pregnant. Googly is saying Britons can potentially catch a glimpse of the aurora on Wednesday up until Wednesday night. Maybe I hope so. I saw this on the news. Yeah, so Paige is saying again, I mean a war, I mean bombs, nukes, etc. Yeah, I think I've answered that. I see it highly unlikely that is going to hit the United Kingdom. If there is anywhere that's going to be struck in the United Kingdom, and guys, look, let me be clear, I think this is like low down on the likelihood right now. If Russia starts to strike Poland, then that may change. But right now, I see that as a really low likelihood, like ridiculously low. And the strategic, they would always be strategic targets. So we're talking about, military, nuclear facilities. I wouldn't even say they would strike government facilities because, that doesn't make much sense. Although maybe some of you guys will be like, come on, Putin. Come on, Putin, just like, come on, just one right in the middle. So yeah, unlikely, highly unlikely, guys, that bombs are going to be hitting the United Kingdom. Right now, I'm saying that as we are right now. Right. Okay. So so what we're talking here, Pink Lady, is we are talking. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of aspects here, guys. There are a lot of aspects. Yeah, there's a lot of aspects here. So if we're talking bombs dropping, drones from Russia, I think that's highly unlikely. If we're talking about pitched battles on the streets of the United Kingdom, sword and sandals, riots and protests, I would say that's already here. Like, wouldn't you guys say that's already here? There are pitched battles in the United Kingdom between protesters. And as this progresses, I do think that's going to get worse. And listen, guys, don't be under no illusion. We've not seen the first of the Palestinians arrive yet. Right, Paige. So yeah, Paige. I hope I've answered your questions, Paige. If you're feeling worried, just throw more questions by my way. Don't worry. Right, guys, I'm going to jump over to YouTube now because it's been going quite crackers over on YouTube. So I'm just going to jump to the bottom of I'm just going to jump to the bottom of YouTube. Lone Wolf Prepper is saying morning. Hang on. Right, Sid's two sides is saying, would you suggest arming ourselves in the UK? No, I wouldn't. And I say this to everyone as well. Like people come up to me and say, "Oh, I'm gonna like." First of all, it's illegal in the UK, right? It is. Like in the UK, the law is. And look, guys, I'm not saying this because I don't want to get the video banned or anything. I'm saying this because I genuinely believe this. All right. I'll read the question and then I'll read the question. Before I start answering the question, I'll let everybody know what the question is. All right. So two sides are saying, would you suggest arming ourselves here in the UK? Question mark. I can't sleep thinking about things that are going to go down. So first of all, let me give you a qualifying statement, right? I've spent probably over 5 years living in the Middle East, in like bad parts of the Middle East when it was bad. I lived in Baghdad when it was a war zone, when there was, roadside bombs, when there was, people removing things off people's bodies. I lived there for about 5 years, going out and operating in that environment. I was armed. Never once did I even think I would have to use that thing. What you should be thinking is get yourselves a good hibernate, relocate, and evacuate plan. Because, like, the best way to fight is not to fight. Don't be involved in that, guys. All right, don't get involved in that. All right, just get away from it. So get yourselves a good plan, a good place to go to if you're worried. Maybe I've done a video on hibernate, relocate, evacuate, and as some people say, alienate as well. So if you've hibernated in your house and you can't, you still need to, it's still dangerous, you relocate and then you evacuate the country, and then if the world's gone bad, you alienate and you go to another planet. But get yourselves a good hibernation plan. Have the ability to stay in your house for a prolonged period of time. Give yourselves, and you kind of need to do this right now, guys. Okay, get yourselves a relocation location. And that may be a friend or a family's house who lives out in the countryside in a rural location or a semi-rural location. And just talk and say, listen, if things get real bad here in my town, in my city, can I come and live with you? Can I come and get out? Can I come and go to you guys? And most of the time they'll say yes. I mean, our house is one of those locations, and I've just told everybody, you should come around here. And you know what? I think it'll be a good laugh. Everybody get there. So the question was, would you suggest arming ourselves? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. They cause more problems than they cause more problems, I believe. Hang on, guys. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so get yourself a good plan and just avoid those scenarios, guys. Avoid that conflict. That's what I'll tell everybody. And I know some of you guys are like, I'm not going to avoid anything. God wills it, and that's up to you guys. My advice would always be to avoid. In fact, if I was to give you advice as a security consultant, I would say, if I was to give you guys my advice as a security consultant, I would say avoid tensions, avoid large buildups of people. And, it's very easy to avoid these places, and what you've got to understand is if there is a hoarding, if there is a marauding mob, if you're not near that marauding mob, you're not going to get marauded. I hope I answered that question. A true war of attrition is saying Slim. The Great Reset. Yes, I think he's referring there to the conflict in Ukraine at the moment. Right, let me jump up. Paige Olivier is saying, I've got a caravan. I'll be towing it to the woods somewhere. Yeah, go with people. Make sure you've got lots of people with you. Don't go lone wolf on yourself. Right, okay. Right, April Lee is saying, Sean, can I book for 2 people, 3 cats, a dog, and a tortoise called Elvis? Right, you're going to have to send me your food requirements. I don't know if we can feed the tortoise. I mean, what skills does the tortoise bring, April? Like, is the tortoise and is he a guard tortoise? Is he an attack tortoise? Is your tortoise an attack? I said to my mum, actually, my mum was like, I don't know if you guys know the story, but one of the and thank you, Francesca, for subscribing for the first time. Thank you so much, guys. Listen, Francesca, as Olivia, as Paige Olivia, sorry. I hope, Francesca, you are going to be a powerful contributor to this channel, and I look forward to your comments and contributions. So I said to my, okay, let me give you guys a story real quick, because I know some people may have not heard it. So back in 2022, before we started any of these social media channels, 22 invasion of Ukraine, I was dealing with like loads of stuff, guys. I had loads of stuff going on. I had like maybe 4 or 5 different phones going. I was dealing with 4 or 5 different phones, dealing with different people. I had like Signal calls, WhatsApp calls, other apps. I was dealing with emails. I was dealing with, I was dealing with people in America, people in Ukraine, people in Australia, people in Canada. The timeline. I wasn't sleeping, because when you're dealing with the Australians, they're like almost like 12 hours like behind or in front, whichever way you want to think about it. The Americans are like 8 hours behind. So when the Ukrainians start going to sleep, the Americans wake up. So then the Americans are asking me questions, and then the Ukrainians wake up before the Americans, and then they're asking me questions, and so are the Australians. So I wasn't sleeping. I was dealing with loads of stuff, guys. And my mum phoned me. So my mum phoned me. She said, I could tell she was crying. She said, Sean, I'm at the bottom of the gate. Can you let me in? So we've got like quite a long driveway, and we've got like manual gates at the bottom, because I don't want electric gates, because electric gates can be hacked. And we have a RAM bar, and it's quite secure. So I walked down, I took the bar off, I opened the gate, my mum came in, she was crying. I'm like, what's wrong? She had two Aldi bags. One of the Aldi bags was absolutely brimming with chunky soup, and the other Aldi bag was brimming with long life milk and tea bags. And my mum was crying, and she was thinking that like we was going to get nuked or something. She goes, Sean, if Putin sends nuclear bombs, can I come and live in your cellar? So like, so anyway, you kind of look at the cellar, because we've got the cellar done out with like camp beds, and like we've got enough. We can go down to the cellar and like stay there for a while. Anyway, after my mum had calmed down a bit, she's got like a little dog. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the little dog is. I said to her, I looked at her, my mum, and I said, all right, mother, I said, you can, yeah, but you're gonna have to leave Millie behind. She said, what do you mean? I said, look, Millie, she's not got any practical uses. She's too small to be an attack dog. She can't carry anything. All she's going to do is take up food. She started crying again. She says, she can have some of my food. She doesn't eat much. Anyway, obviously, I was only joking with her. I probably went too far. But yeah, we love our pets in the United Kingdom, guys. We do. We love our pets in the United Kingdom. And Slim is saying, eat the dog. It's only a little dog, Slim. It was only a little dog. There's not much meat on it, unfortunately. Right, let me jump up again. But anyway, sorry. So I totally went off on a side waffle then, guys. So Francesca, yeah, welcome for joining, Francesca. I hope you're going to be a powerful contributor to the channel. April saying love and laughter. Debbie Doobs is saying they can take our wealth, liberty, but they can't take our sense of humor. I don't know. We've all got the brain chips in. We've all got the brain chips in, and we're not allowed to laugh or have bad thoughts. Oh, bless your mum, Sean. I'd love to meet her. Oh, I don't think anybody's ready for. You're not ready for my mum. She's so intense. She is so intense. My mate calls her intense Kath. That's going crackers. That is going right, guys. I may have to give me a second, guys. The group chat's going crackers. Right, I don't know what that means. I'm just going to pretend I've not seen that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream, because I'm going to start to close this down now on TikTok, and then I'll be moving over to YouTube. So the crux of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, the United Kingdom really does need to prepare for phase 2. Let me give background. You don't initiate phase 2 unless phase 1 has been completed. In no walks of life, zero. In zero scenarios, in anything, guys, in anything, you can't do phase 2 until phase 1's completed. So we're all looking at the country and like here in the United Kingdom, how it's just been it is just an absolute diabolical mess. It does seem that according to the Keir Starmer, that was his plan all along. So I'm looking at things and I'm thinking, right, like the pound is like almost worthless. The British identity is almost gone. We're having this strange emergence of people. Look, guys, you are going to see sword and sandal skirmishes fought on the streets of the United Kingdom, because there's so many different. Was it 2023 I think it was 2023 in Leicester in the United Kingdom, there was massive riots between Pakistanis and Indians. And I think it was Leicester. I'm pretty sure it was Leicester in 2023. So I'm talking here. And when this happens, there's going to be so many different groups. You're going to have potentially Somalians fighting with Eritreans, or people from South Sudan fighting with people from the Congo. And then they're going to be united against people from different regions. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. And I really do feel that's coming. I don't know if any of you guys have started to see it yet. I've not started to see it, but it is coming. The implications and the implementation, of the flagging. So there's going to be flagging. So one side of the street will be Union flags. The other side of the street will be Palestinian flags. And you won't cross over. If you're from this neighborhood, you won't cross over. And that's going to be more segregation into the United Kingdom. That they are the things that are coming, guys, and you can't deny that. I don't know if that's already started to happen, but it's certainly coming. It's going to come where people are, and we know this is coming because historically this is what happens. And there's lots of government and there's lots of information out there. There's lots of literature saying that this is coming. Lots of literature to say that this is coming. Lots of literature, say that this is coming, whereby, and a lot of this literature comes from the troubles in Northern Ireland. So when you don't listen to people, when you don't listen to your voters, when you don't listen to the people who live in the country and you're in charge, people will revolt. Tell me I'm wrong. If anyone can give me give me a country that's not listened to their people and they've not had a revolt, if somebody can tell me that, I'd be happy to listen. It all comes down to truth. Not truth. It all comes down to trust. I guess, which is synonymous with truth. If you lose trust, which is a symptom of fear, if you're scared, you don't trust. So if you're scared, you don't trust. If you don't trust, you think for yourself. If you think for yourself, you don't think for others. And this is what we're getting now, guys. Like the ghettoization of the United Kingdom. I mean, there's already places in the United Kingdom that have become... Guys, I'm waffling. Listen, guys, I'm going to start to close this down now on TikTok. I'll be open on YouTube. I'll continue the conversation on YouTube. I can see the comments going crackers on YouTube, so I will be jumping over there, guys, in a second. April Lee saying I can bring board games, Sean. I don't know. I feel like I need a game of chess. Debbie Doobs is saying 7 p.m. UK time for Trump's announcement. Well, that will be good because we will be able to talk about that on tonight's live stream at 8, which brings me into the closing down of this TikTok live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out. If you've not done so already, please hit the follow button up there because that really helps me out when you guys hit that button. Thank you to you guys for subscribing for the first time. I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Daniel Payne saying, just got a nice text about the alert. Yeah. So I think there's going to be an alarm text or like a phone alarm. In fact, have I got a text? No, I've not got any text yet. They're probably leaving my phone out. So there's going to be an alarm on... Is it on the 7th? I don't know. I think it's on the 7th. I don't know. But they're testing the emergency alert signals on our phones. Luxford is saying, Luxford is saying, a client won't use our shop now because I shared a photo of the flag. Do you know what? Good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because if they're the type of person that was coming into your shop, maybe they were the type of person who's going to be taking pictures, and you might not want them in your shop anyway. Anyway, guys, I am going to close this down now on TikTok. I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I will continue the live stream on YouTube. I am the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. If you've not liked me on YouTube, guys, jump yourself over and go and do that now. And we will be back on at 8 to discuss what Donald Trump has announced at 7 o'clock UK time. And we're off. And we are off, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming now on YouTube and X. Hang on, guys. I need to open this up because I may need to say something. No, okay. I don't need to do anything. Right, where are we? Right, hello everyone on YouTube. If you've not done so, can you hit the buttons below, guys? Can you do that? The buttons below, the subscribe, the bell notification. I don't know what they are down there. Can you do that? Right, let me jump up, guys. MacTube is saying basically we will be ghettos appearing everywhere and tents everywhere as they are removing tent law in spring. I didn't realize that. So yeah, and MacTube, I've go back through my videos. I've said this a couple of times whereby we're going to, and look, this is what's coming as well. We are going to see, we're going to see like woodland become tented ghettos. It's coming, guys. People are going to be living feral. People are literally going to be living feral with no ID. You've got no ID, committing crimes, literally people of the, that's referring to them as elves, and elves are kind of cool. We're just gonna have wild people living in the woods. They're gonna be wild people of the woods. What's that movie? That M. Night Shyamalan movie, where there's like the village and they're too scared to go into the woods. That's pretty much what we're going to be like, guys. It's phenomenal. It really is phenomenal. Can you imagine if and our house backs onto a woods as well? It really does, guys. Our house backs onto a woods. I genuinely, I don't, I'm not sure that they would go there because there's not really, it is like I mean, I'm not going to say they wouldn't, but like, there's not really a water source there. It's a long way from a shop, and it's a bit too isolated. Where I think you're going to see these ghettos and these tented cities start to appear are little woodlands in housing estates, little woodlands that are just near shopping centres, that are just off the road, roundabouts, all those sorts of things. That's where I think you're going to see them pop up. But yeah, look, I've said this is coming like long ago, and I do believe that we are going to see legal challenges by some liberal law firm who say, well, hang on a minute, you guys have been living in the woods for 10 years. Well, no, we've just got here. But if you say you've been living in the woods 10 years, I can put a legal challenge in, and I can say that that woodland is now yours. What do you think, guys? Do you think that's going to happen? I would say it is. Slim is saying, Sean is always invited over to his house when the world ends. I'm looking forward to it. Listen, we may need an elf army. We may need an elf army, guys, with bows and arrows. We really are going that way. I mean, obviously, I stick with the advice I gave earlier when people are saying, should we arm? I don't know. I don't think anyone should. I saw an article from the UK saying people are buying bows and arrows at like an alarming rate. And look, guys, I think it's right now anyway, I think the main thing people should do is hibernate, relocate, and evacuate. But at some point, we may need an elf army. Lord of Langwoods is saying, anyone know of any protests this weekend around the Midlands? I think the protests now are going to start to die off. I really do. Kids are back at school. Mums and dads will be back at school. Phase 2 of the dastardly plans been put into getting hatched. So I do think the protests are going to start to slow down. I certainly don't know of any. Lisa Jane is saying, have you seen the tented people living outside the hotels in Mayfair? They poo in the streets. So my first experience of the Middle East was in Oman, the Oman, which is it's the Oman. It's just off the coast. And where is Oman? If you think it's just across the water from Iran. So when I was in the military, I was maybe like, I don't know, 18 or something. And we did our exercise in Oman, and we got on a coach and we went for, I can't remember whether it was Muscat or Salalah. I think it was Salalah. Yeah, you know what? It definitely was Salalah. So I don't know if anybody's been to that part of the world. Beautiful part of the world, by the way. We'd come down. We were driving through a town called Thumrait. We went, and you drive south. Well, it's like southeast. You go down this really steep, like ridiculously steep hill. You get to the bottom, which is Salalah, and there's like a roundabout in the middle, and there is a fountain in the middle of this roundabout. This is my first experience of the Middle East. So I was walking down, and there was a guy in dish dash, and he had his dish dash lifted up, and he was having a dump and washing himself in the fountain. And that was my first experience of the Middle East, Middle Eastern culture. Daz is saying, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. An EK adder or a Vita. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are, guys. Lord of Language is saying Shirebrook has workers from Sports Direct living in tense woodland. It attracts the wrong people in that place. What? Hang on a minute. Lord of Langwith, right. Lord of Langwith, are you saying that there's a Sports Direct that is employing people who live in tents? Really? Is that where we're going now? Look, guys, I mean, Maybe that's the way to go. Maybe we're all the idiots buying houses and paying mortgages, giving money to the banks when we could just get a tent. D. Gen X is saying, is this the start of it, Sean? Pound struggling against the dollar, FTSE and Euro struggling. We haven't had an autumn budget yet. Yeah, it's going to get worse, D. It's going to get worse. Remember, phase 1 has been a success, as per Keir Starmer. So now we're moving on to phase 2. It all seems crazy to us. But if that's the plan, if that's what they're wanting to do, then, it makes sense. I see apparently. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I think I've missed the. Yes, EK Adder. I don't know what people are talking about here, guys. What are these? I don't know what the. I'm going to have to Google this, guys. I'm going to have to Google this. Give me a second. EK Adder. Oh! Right, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't recommend anybody. Right, I'm just going to leave you guys to. Look, guys, I don't know what you. It's up to you what you guys do. All right, I will be quite clear. I think the best way to protect yourselves is to avoid a conflict situation. All right, I do. I think that is the best. I know. You know what, guys? Listen. I've been a security consultant now, working at like the highest level, overseas in all sorts of crazy countries. Now, what I will say is the best way to protect yourselves is to avoid those situations where, to avoid those situations in the first place. So, I'm not telling anyone to buy anything, and I'm certainly not telling people not to buy things. You're all adults. What I would say is I would avoid a situation. And if you give yourselves that option, you become a threat yourself. You do, guys. Like, you really do. And maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong angle, guys. But I've done lots of security, armed security in the Middle East, not armed security in Ukraine, but I've done a lot of firearms training, like more than most. And you kind of can't do anything on your own. Like, if you're one person, you can't do anything. You need a fire team. You need a section. You need multiple people. And to do that, what we're talking about here, guys, is like just something that is so like wild. I don't think we're there yet. So what I will recommend, and I do genuinely believe this, all right, like hibernate, relocate, evacuate will keep you safer longer than an EK Adder. All right, I didn't know what one was, guys. I just looked at them. They're like 350 quid. Who's got 350 quid to spend on one of those things? Got a Picatinny rail though. Hang on, let me look at it. You can buy these things online. Give over. How do you cock it? Right, I'm not interested, guys. Anyway, I'm not interested. Right, let me continue. I didn't know what one was, guys. I'll stand by what I said. I don't think people should be arming. I really don't, guys. I don't think people should be arming. Oh, and then Lord of Langwitz is saying Sports Direct head office is in Shirebrook. All right, and it employs 2,500. So the head office. Oh, hang on, this is wild. So Lord of Langwitz is saying, and I'm not saying he's not right. I'm just saying I need to say that because I'm not confirming it. I'm just saying this is what Lord of Langwitz is saying. Sports Direct head office is in Shirebrook. It employs over 2,500 people. Interpol have turned up before to arrest foreign workers. Wanted it. You couldn't. Right, let me get this. This has got to make the news. This has got to make the news. Wow. So I'm just going to read this, right? I'm going to read you the headline. This is from quite a while ago. Sports Direct man jailed for modern slavery offences. Man jailed for 3 years after he trafficked 2 men and took their wages. Some wild things have been happening at Sports Direct, guys. Wild thing. Wow. Slave labor at Sports Direct. So they have it, guys. You know, we have slaves working in Sports Direct in Shirebrook. That's unbelievable. Brothers jailed for trafficking people from Poland to work at Sports Direct Shirebrook warehouse, Nottinghamshire. A Crown Court hurled. There you go, guys. Oh no, 18 men. 18 men. 18 men from Poland to work at Sport. Wow, that's unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Modern day slavery at Sports Direct. Right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now because I do have to go and do a little bit of work. I have to let people know what's happening. I have to go and command and control and get things sorted. The group chat's going crackers. The crux of this live stream was, you know, United Kingdom needs to prepare because phase 2 has been initiated. Ladies and gentlemen, look, people don't see how ominous this is. That means that phase 1 has been a success. That means that the chaos we've just gone through was all part of the government's plan. Please, somebody tell me I'm wrong. Please, somebody tell me how you can initiate phase 2 if phase 1's not being initiated. Oh, but Sean, it's just a metaphorical thing. No, stop. I don't believe it is because of the terminology and the wording. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back on at 8 and I'll see you later.